Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode on The Naked Truth. We are the relationship biohackers, and today we are discussing
A couple's survival guide for shelter in place. How to survive the apocalypse.
because it's almost kind of like a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, and we know you're going to kill each other, so here's our thing.
So today we're going to share with you some of the common issues that as a couple you're going to face as you are quarantined in your house together, because most couples, honestly, let's be real, don't spend a whole lot of time with each other. They go to work, they're like passing ships in the night.
Absolutely.
So this is going to be a very important episode. We're going to share tips, tricks, things that you can do to really help save your relationship amidst these stressful times.
Let's do it. Okay, folks, well, welcome to the episode. So as we discussed earlier, we are going to dig a little bit deeper into something that we've never faced in our lifetime before. I highly doubt our parents faced this, but it's more of a challenge for us in this day and age because technology, which we're using to broadcast with you, is also separated us, and people have become, what would you say, strangers pretty much?
Disconnected.
Passing ships in the night because, between jobs and children and technology, people have kind of not been together, so they don't know, or I shouldn't say they don't know, they have lost the ability to really stay connected. We joke about it because, okay, the reality of it is we're best friends, so we could be stranded on an island like we've often discussed with no internet, no phone, no nada, and we will entertain ourselves for days, if not months on end.
And we'll not just survive, we'll actually thrive because we enjoy being around each other. So we're not the typical couple, but we understand what the typical couple is going through. Because in the beginning of our relationship, we worked side by side at a dining room table.
Absolutely.
Every single day, except to take the dog for a walk.
Or when I was traveling for business.
When you travel for business, to go to happy hour, to go to the gym. So we're used to being in the same environment for an extended period of time without killing each other.
Well, actually, we did a calculation based on the average amount of hours that people would typically spend together if both parties of the couples were working. And we calculated for the length of time that we literally spent sitting across from each other or next to each other. It was equivalent to something like about 10 to 15 years of marriage. So we get it. We understand we're not the norm. Not that we're perfect by any means. We're not claiming that we are. But we're going to try and share with you some of the things that works for us. And maybe this will work for you in these trying times. Because let's be honest, you're strangers. You're pretty much strangers again, having to be locked up in a house together.
Absolutely. Amidst all the stress, the fear, the panic, the anxiety, the worry of what if we don't have work? What if we don't have enough money? How are we going to pay the bills? What are the kids going to do? What if we run out of food? What if, which that alone is a lot of stress. And then unfortunately, that's going to cause relationship problems because if you're stressed, you're going to naturally take it out on the people around you,
Absolutely.
Your partner,
Yep.
Your children, and they're the last people who deserve your frustration, anger, your whatever that you're lashing out at them, but you have no other option. So we're going to share with you some different tips and tools that you can use to maybe not lash out at your partner, even though that's the only person you have to lash out at.
Absolutely. But let's be real. One of the what ifs that Shelly didn't discuss, and I'll put it out there because we've had the conversation already. I mean, guys, yeah, we live in Mexico and we're in a nice neighborhood, but we face the same anxiety. And just a couple of days ago, I had to have a heart-to-heart with Shelly and says, if I get this virus and if I'm not going to be able to get better, especially because we live in Mexico and we know that they're probably not equipped to handle this, not the way the US or Europe or Canada is be able to handle it. We have to be realistic. And I told her, I says, you know what, if I get that ill, and just take me out to the ocean and just leave me by the beach because I want to spend my last days looking at the ocean. So that's the kind of extent of conversation that we've had face to face. This is the reality of what we're dealing with. It's not something that we ever imagined it, but we're very realistic. So having said that, guys, let's get down to really some of the things that we're going to be able to hopefully help you. If even if you could take one thing away and it helps you, then our goal is done. So getting right off, why don't we start off with communication?
That is the most important one, because now that you are locked in an environment with nobody else but your partner and maybe your children, if you have children, you have to learn how to communicate face to face. There's no more of this, hi, how are you? How was your day? What did you do at work? What are we having for dinner? What about the kids tomorrow? Are you going to take them to school? That's usually the maximum amount of communication that most couples have after they come home from work, and then they sit down and maybe watch Netflix together, which they don't communicate during, or they sit and they're glued to their phones. Again, they're not communicating with their partner.
So basically we exist, unfortunately, folks, this is our reality, okay? We exist in a superficial communication level. People don't know how to have deep, in-depth conversation where you have to face your partner and be vulnerable and talk about your fears and talk about what's going on. So we've learned to kind of distance ourselves by getting lost on work, by getting lost on going to the gym or going out with friends or what's going on Instagram or who's on Facebook. So we've kind of separated and learned how to not communicate by communicating very, very lightly, whether it's a text or, hey, how you doing? Oh, yeah, very, very superficial. Now we are in a situation where if the internet goes down, what then? Okay? You're now in a house, and if you're just a couple with YouTube, good on you. But we also feel for the people with kids, because now you have to communicate with each other and communicate with the kids as well.
And oftentimes, parents are using the internet as a babysitter for kids. So if the internet does crash, the kids now are looking at you for entertainment, and what are you going to do? So there is that level of, you have to communicate about real shit. No more of this superficial level bullshit. So how do you begin? How do you even begin discussing your deepest inner desires and fears during these times of angst? Well, you really just have to start.
Yeah.
You just have to start. You got to put it all out on the table. You have to be aware in how you communicate. You have to be aware of your tone of voice. Don't lash out at your partner. Don't take out your stress on them. Don't react when they say something to you that you don't like, because most people don't know how to communicate, so they react, or they don't even, they think about what to say back. They think about how to respond instead of listening. So most people get caught up and they don't even hear what their partner is saying.
Well, they're in defense mode. So the reality of it, folks, is that, look, this is either going to make or break your relationship. After whether it's a month or 2 months of being able to shelter in place, it's either going to make you or break you, and that's a reality that you have to live with. So the communication piece is key, and it's something that we often talk about in a lot of our programs that we do with you. Communication, communication, communication. And like Shelly says, you have to be open and vulnerable to hear what your partner is saying. One of the things that I use personally is I do my very best. There's a lot of things that I see Shelly doing that I would not do or that I could easily pick on. And I have to always remind myself, and I've told clients this, I've told friends the same thing. Stop before you try to go after your partner. And I know you might be frustrated, and I know you just want to vent, and I know something they did or say might have just set you off. Before you do, ask yourself, is it worth it? What am I going to accomplish if I open my mouth and I pick on her for something, or I pick on him for something, or you should be doing, you shouldn't be doing, right? Is it really worth it? Because think 3 steps ahead. Think what you're going to say. Think about how that person is going to react and what they're going to say, and think about how you're going to react based on what they're going to say. Because if you've been in a relationship long enough, you know your partner. Mm-hmm. There is no guessing about it. You know exactly how your partner is going to react. You know exactly what your partner is going to say.
And you should know your partner's triggers. So you should know the things that you do that are going to get a reaction out of your partner.
Yeah, like dishes in the sink. That's all I'm saying.
I was thinking of something else, but I won't go there.
But yeah, I mean, we're joking about it on folks. Trust me, this is dead serious, but we're trying to make light of it.
Well, and a good analogy is, okay, look at where you are right now. The amount of stress, the fear, the what if, the worry, the angst, the panic. Now go back 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
How important was any of that?
How important was all of your bullshit, your stories, your drama, your stress? None of that today matters because there's now there's a bigger issue at hand than all of that bullshit.
Yeah.
So there's always something worse. So one of the tools that I personally use, I'm always asking, you know what, how can it get any better? Because instead of focusing on how can it get any worse and oh, my poor life and this didn't work and that didn't work and my partner's not doing this for me and that, like, you know what, how can this get any better? And there's a gentle way in communicating, and oftentimes we do it with each other because we use these tools with each other and sometimes against each other, which that's what happens when you both are relationship coaches. But we hold each other accountable. So for example, you have to do it gently, exactly. If you find your partner saying something that pisses you off, you can just ask them, you know what, well, what else is possible there? That's an interesting point of view that you have that point of view. What else is possible? What if we looked at it this way? What about that way? So you're always posing the what if question. What if it was like this? Or what if it was like that? Or how could it get any better? So you're opening up the door to something else.
So why we say gently? Folks, we're human beings. We got egos. And the egos are fragile. And especially with all the stress that's happening and the uncertainty, that ego is even more fragile. So gently. Like we always say, before you say the words, think about how the person's going to receive it. And I take a more morbid approach to it. And I know Shelley has a very happy-go-lucky view of things. I take a more morbid approach. And my approach, the way I deal with it is this. I can die. She can die. You can die. This is the reality we're living in today. And if those were the last words that you're going to say to your partner, is that going to be the words that you choose?
Worth it? Yep.
So would you rather have the last day or the last week or the last month of memory of creating wonderful, amazing experiences? Or would you rather be fighting over bullshit and picking over stupid things? Like I reminded a friend today, I said, listen, take your kids out. Watch for people, keep that social distances, but get them out. Let them enjoy the air and enjoy some sunshine. Let them go and get some exercise. Spend time with your family. So you have to be able to communicate these things. You have to be able to, for the first time, actually sit down and listen, pay attention, listen with your whole body to what your partner is saying. Put your ego in check. When your ego wants to respond, put it in check and go, listen, let me just hear what they say. It doesn't matter what I feel. It doesn't matter what I think. It's what the other person thinks and feels. And I have to hear what they're saying to me. I have to hear what she says, as what she feels, not what I think, what she feels.
Well, you have to stop being so selfish. You have to stop thinking about yourself all the time and what you want and what you need and what you desire from your partner. You have to actually stop and go, okay, wait a second. What does my partner need, want, and desire from me right now? What do my kids need, want, and desire of me right now? Because think about it. I mean, the way you mentioned to your friend, it's like, you know what, dude, you've been thinking about yourself, but not about your family. Include them. They're probably going stir crazy.
They're all in this together.
We're all in it together. So stop being so selfish and literally start thinking about other people's needs, wants, and desires and how you can contribute to them to take away their stress, their fear, their worry, their panic.
So last topic on this communication. Here's a really nice nugget for you to take away. Pretend like you're the one who's going to be dying. And what experience do you want your family or your loved one to have of you? So for the first time in your life, put them as the number one priority, not yourself. Put them. How do I want to leave them with a memory of me? Is it going to be a memory of me always wanting my way and arguing and fighting over stupid things? Or is it a memory of, you know what, they had a great time, I made them laugh, we were joyful, we had great experiences. So for the first time, put your loved one ahead of you. Put your family ahead of you. Figure out a better way to do it. So having said that,
that moves us into quality time. It's super important right now to spend quality time with your family, with your partner, with your kids. What does that look like? That doesn't look like everybody sitting on the couch on their cell phone.
Yeah, because that is, let's be honest, folks, in today's day and age, Technology has now separated us instead of bringing us together. So we may be sitting in the same room, but everybody's in their own world. And especially with this, we have to now connect back with each other. And I'm not just talking about going and playing some card games or doing this. Spend quality time. Talk to each other. Get to know each other. Even I don't care if you've been married for 10, 15, 20 years. Like, fuck, get to know each other. Sit down. Talk about hopes and dreams and things that you wanted to do that you haven't done and things that you should have done that you haven't done.
Yeah.
Talk about those things. Be vulnerable. Be open. But go spend some good quality time, man. Sit down. Shut off the fucking TV and the internet and just spend time together, because mark my word, that internet is going to crash. Then what? Then are you going to be on each other's throat? So do yourself a favor. Do your family a favor. Go unplug the goddamn internet and spend a day together and see what that's going to feel like. Nobody touches their phone. Spend some time together. Spend good quality. Do things that make each other laugh, cook, clean.
Read a book.
Read a book. Talk. Share some ideas together. Write a book. Do things together. Draw together.
Great time to be creative, to allow all your artistic creations to come out. Like, really tap into what are those things that you desire to create that you've not had the time to because you've been go, 9-to-5 job, go here, go there, do this, do that. You actually have time.
Absolutely.
Like, allow yourself to be bored, but spend that time being bored with
each other,
with
your family,
tasks, with fun things to do, things that really fill you up with joy and passion.
And stop demanding. For the first time in your life, stop fucking demanding. Oh, I need to have this and I need to do. Stop. Just stop. Can you just chill and enjoy? Again, guys, I'm going to bring this morbid state all the time into you just to shock you back into your reality, because this is our reality. We don't know who it's going to hit and when it's going to hit. This is our reality. So quality time. Spend it. Enjoy it like it's your last. It could be your last. Get to know each other. Get to really know each other. Who are you? If you haven't figured that out with your partner yet, figure it out. Is that your best friend? Because this is my best friend. I would not spend any time with anybody else. I can spend hours and days and months just talking and sharing ideas. And so is your partner your best friend? Is your children your best friend? And if they're not, why aren't they? They're supposed to be the most important people in your life. So use this virus, use this situation as a reset. Reset your life. And I don't care if you're struggling in your relationship. Forget about it. Reset it. Reset it. Ask yourself, if this is your last freaking month on earth, what are you going to do? Go out and find somebody new? Fix what you got. Find out who you really are. Find out who your partner is. She always jokes that I know her better than she knows herself. I took the time. I understand her.
And if you don't know where to begin, reach out. That's what we do. That's what we're here for. We have a checklist. We have free resources to be able to send you. We do coaching sessions to be able to help you during these rough, challenging times, where we can help you get to know each other, where we can give you the tips and tools that you need. Because most people, I worked with a client the other day. I gave her this amazing homework exercise. We're going to talk about it next, actually, called sexting, where you actually get to know your partner sexually. And it's amazing. Every time I give that exercise to somebody, they always ask me, well, Shelly, where do I begin? How do I even initiate this concept of sexting with my partner? What do I say with the pictures that I send? Where do I find the pictures? What questions do I ask? How do I respond to what my partner says? What if my partner doesn't respond? How do I get my partner to respond to what I'm asking and what I'm bringing up? And we've done it before. I've been in the bathroom and he's been downstairs and he sexts me. The moment I leave the house, he's sexting me. So just because you guys are locked inside of a house doesn't mean that you can't think of creative ways to keep your sex life passionate, to keep the connection there. It's too easy to fall into complacency, especially right now. So this is a really important time to get to know who your partner is sexually, because unfortunately more than 54% of couples have no idea
of who
their partner is sexually. Likes, dislikes, turn-ons, fantasies, fetishes. Absolutely. So use this as an opportunity. If you guys have never watched porn together, Sit down, take some time one evening and watch some porn together.
Yeah.
Like, put
In case you haven't figured it out, we're now in the sexy stuff.
but you really have to put all your bullshit stories aside of, oh, well, I don't want to watch porn, I have insecurities, I'm jealous, I'm
How I
this,
was
my body image
raised, or
issues, religion,
yeah,
da da da. Put
put
all
it
that
aside.
aside.
How important is any of that stuff right
It's
now?
not important.
So get to know your partner sexually. To rediscover your sexuality. Even if it's like Shelly says, even if it is, go online. Like fuck all the bullshit that you've bought in before about porn and I can't do this and this is the go find some images. If you've never discussed what you want from your partner, if you've never discussed what your partner needs, this is a good time to figure it out, folks. And one of the things that we always tell our clients, sexting is a very invasive way to find out. Send them an image. Hey, this would be nice. I would like to try this.
What do you think about
What
this?
do you think about this?
Hint, hint, wink, wink, would like this weekend.
I don't care if they're in the next room. I don't care if they're sitting next to you. It's a very invasive way. And I know a lot of couples really struggle. We work with a lot of couples, and it's the number one thing that they struggle with. They struggle with the ability to talk about sex. They find it so hard. And one of the things we say is, if you can't talk to your partner about sex, who the hell are you going to talk to them about it with? So this is a great way. Use technology for your benefit. Don't use it to become a stranger. Use it for your benefit. Find some images that turns you on. And push past the romantic nonsense about the knight in shining armor. No, get down, get real. Get to know who you are sexually. Get to figure out who your partner is sexually. Be in a space of, without judgment, listening to them. For the first time in your life, don't judge them. Even if they tell you they want to swing off the freaking chandelier in a monkey suit, it doesn't make a difference what it is. Just be in the space of allowance to hear them. Hear them with your whole body without any judgment. And again, I don't want you to use the excuse of, oh, I was raised this way and my parents didn't raise me and society. Stop.
But we also have to get out of this, oh, well, if he has this fantasy, that means I have to do it. We're going to make it a reality. Or, oh my God, if she wants that, then that means I'm going to have to give her the opposite of that. Let's say threesome. Well, I don't want to bring in another guy for a threesome if I want the girl. We see that a lot. Put all that bullshit aside. Just because you have a fantasy and you're talking about it with your partner doesn't mean you have to do it. Doesn't mean you have to make it a reality. Oftentimes, just merely talking about it is enough
Absolutely.
to spice up your sex
Absolutely.
life. You can use it while you're having
Fantasize,
sex
enjoy it,
to
and
talk
that's it.
about, use it as role play. And if the internet does crash, guys, prepare yourself. There's tons of websites out there with free erotica. You can
Download
then
some.
download
Get-
it. Then you
Absolutely.
can, when there's no internet, sit in bed at night, read it to one another, play it out, act it out,
Absolutely.
use it to spice up your sex life. Use it to bring you together. Use it to connect you sexually, to keep you guys connected during these stressful times. Because if you haven't heard me say it before, stress hormones, sex hormones are indirectly related. So the best way to reduce your stress is to have more sex, to boost those sex hormones, to stay sexually turned on, to be aroused, to desire your partner. So boost your sex hormones. You're going to reduce your stress hormones. You're going to be happier, more joyful, and you've got nothing to lose, and you're going to be happier with your partner. You're going to help them de-stress.
And if not now, when? The divorce rate in the United States is over 60%. This is a great way to salvage your relationship. This is a great, again, use this as a blessing instead of a curse. Use this to really put life back into your relationship. Use this to put life back into your sexuality, into the things that you hold that's important. So go be a freak. Don't have any judgment. Discover your freak with each other. No judgments at all. Start off with something as invasive as sexting. And like Shelly says, explore erotica, explore massaging one another, but do it from a place of not, I'm going to do it for you, so you have to do it for me. Do it just because you want to.
Absolutely. No obligations, no expectations, nada.
Do it like if this is the last time you're going to touch your partner.
Absolutely.
We don't know what we're facing, folks, and we don't know how long it's going to be. So go.
And if you
Please.
need help, reach out, click the link below, book a free discovery session with us, reach out, ask us what kind of programs we have. Due to this much needed staycation, I'm now actually able to create more programs, and we are in the works of putting together a tantra course for couples, how to give him a massage, how to give her a massage, how to incorporate a lot of tantra techniques so men can last longer, so men can separate their orgasm from ejaculation, so women can become multi-orgasmic, how to help a woman break free and open up her
Absolutely.
sexuality. So we are putting together those courses for you to contribute to you, to help you, guide you down this pathway, because we get it. If you've never discussed sex with your partner, it is going to be challenging. I'm sure a lot of you are sitting there going, oh, fuck, where do I begin?
Where
This is
don't
going
you
to be
start?
uncomfortable because
Absolutely.
I've never brought it up with my partner before. But as you just said,
If
if
not
not
now,
now,
when?
when? So with that being said,
Let's slide into the kids, guys, because we can't forget the kids. If you're one of
no.
those people out there who have children, bless your heart. Because we heard a story the other day of kids in Italy who are dying because both parents are in the hospital and nobody's there to take care of them. So again, I don't want to keep beating you over the head with the morbid, but this is a reality that we're dealing with. Make your kids important. Do things with them that you've never done before. Show them things that you've never showed them before. Tell them about your life. Let them get to understand who you are. I don't care if they're 4 or they're freaking 18 or 24. Sit down with your children. Spend time with them. Spend quality time with the people you care about. These are the only people that matters.
And let's be real. As adults, we've never seen this. We never imagined it. We see it in movies and we're like, oh, the zombie apocalypse. Oh, a pandemic. But now
But
it's
it's here.
here. It's
It's real.
real. So what do these children know about it?
Sit down and talk to
What
them.
does a 4-year-old think is really going on? All they know is, okay, we got to stay at home. Okay, now what? Even a 15-year-old, what does a 15-year-old really know
Absolutely.
about what's going on? And don't be so hard on your kids. Like I said earlier, don't take your stress out on them. They're quarantined inside their house going crazy. Don't give them a hard time. Don't beat them up for stupid little petty stuff. Just like we said, don't beat up your partner. Don't lash out at your partner. Don't do it to your kids either. They're also in a stressful situation.
Yeah.
They can't go outside to play. They can't see their friends. They're not at school. They're probably bored. So they're on technology all the time. It's going to be hard to limit FaceTime and device time, screen time. But right now, you gotta be a little bit more lenient with your kids because they've never gone through something like this either.
And they don't understand.
Don't understand
They don't
what's
get it.
going on.
They don't. You have to understand. As adults, we get it, but we're stressed out. These kids don't get it. They don't understand. All they know is this virus is around, and you know, like Shelly says, even if they're 15 or 16 and they're at that brink of adulthood, we know grown people who don't understand what's going on. And I'm talking about 19, 20, 25-year-olds who don't understand, still thinks it's a joke or that. Guys, spend time with your kids. Sit down, talk to them, enjoy them, laugh with them. Your goal should be, if you're in a relationship, make your partner laugh at least one time a day. If you have children, at least. If you have children,
an hour.
make sure that your kids are laughing and enjoying, because like I said, Shelly lost her dad last year, September, and I can tell you she has so much regrets of all the things that she didn't do with him. Don't be one of those people. Do the things now. Leave an impression on your children. Leave an impression of joy and laughter and fun. You have an opportunity. The universe is giving us this wonderful opportunity to rediscover who we are, to put in perspective the things that are fucking important to us, and stop all the bullshit about the next car and the house and the next iPhone and the next Gucci bag. Fuck that shit. Now the only thing that's important is this. That's the only thing that should be important. So be in that space. Don't take anything for granted. We tend too easily to take too much for granted. Oh, tomorrow I'll do that. Tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Today. Start right this minute. While you're watching this video, start right this minute and make a promise to yourself. I'm going to start right now. I'm going to act differently. I'm going to behave differently. I'm going to enjoy differently. I'm going to laugh different. I'm going to make a complete ass of myself just to make my family laugh. I do that all the time to her. I don't really give a shit.
Yes, you do.
I don't care. I don't care how she views me or what she thinks or not. All I care about is to see the laughter on her face. So come from that place. Come from that place of, I don't care how stressed you are. Make your partner laugh. Make your children laugh.
Make
Laughter is the
yourself
best remedy.
laugh.
Absolutely. I've been posting things on my Instagram, just stupid, silly things. Why? Because the world is so filled with stress and uncertainty right now that I keep reminding people, just laugh. It doesn't cost us anything to laugh. An amazing thing happens. It releases all these different hormones in our bodies that starts reducing our stress, just like sex. It starts reducing our stress. So if we can get away from, the best way to get away from the stress is to do the things we actually enjoy. So do that. Because not a lot of people know how to cope with stress, which is another thing that we talk about all the time. Figure out how you cope. Take an honest look in the mirror and see how you cope with stress. Are you an idiot when you are stressed out? Do you lash out when you're stressed out? Do you become a bitch when you're stressed out? Do you think your partner has the right to be on the receiving end of that? So look at yourself and how you handle your stress. And if you don't know that about yourself now, you got a lot more work to deal with.
Absolutely.
Figure out how you deal with stress and figure a different way how to deal with it.
Well, if your partner is stressed, how do you want them to treat you? That's a great question. Always put yourself in your partner's shoes.
Absolutely.
How would you want them to treat you?
And
then
if
be that.
screaming at them or yelling at them or being bitchy to them or being curt to them or being short with them, is that how you want to be treated? I'm pretty damn sure that nobody wants to be treated that way. So if you're not going to want to be treated that way, why should you give that to your partner? Because remember, guys, this is about survival. This is what this is really about. Learn to be vulnerable. Learn to let go. Learn to laugh. Learn to be sexy again. Learn to communicate. This is one of the things that we have to keep doing.
And learn to live.
Absolutely.
Just live freely.
Don't exist anymore.
Without inhibitions, limitations, belief systems. Like, just live.
How many people do we see that just exist? They go through.
They're robotic. Day in, day out.
And they even admit, yeah, I feel like a robot. I get up, I do the same thing every day. Yep, I get home a certain time. Yep. Stop. You're the only one. You're in the driving seat. You're driving the robot. So stop. Come back and be alive again. Laugh at silly things. Enjoy yourself. Buying the next thing. Look, we can't buy shit. You can buy groceries.
That's about it.
You can go to the pharmacy. So how are you going to survive? Everybody who's a
retail therapy or
retail
whatever
therapy,
you want to call it,
whatever the hell you want to call it, who need to buy the next thing and the next iPhone and the next and the next and the. Hey, stop! How are you surviving now? You can't run out to the mall and buy the next thing, the next shoe, the next Gucci bag, the next sunglasses, the next car. Can you just stop and learn to live again? Learn to be joyful.
Appreciate simplicity.
Absolutely.
What if we don't need a lot of shit? What if this is actually what it's teaching us? We don't need a lot of shit. We can just be simple.
Now, we've done that.
We've downsized quite a lot throughout our years together.
We've moved 3 or 4 times, and every time, the biggest move was really moving into Mexico and learning to let go of all the stuff that we kept important. We left a 3,500 square foot house with a 3-car garage and just walked away with everything, including we left down spoons in the cupboard. Walked away from everything, just took the things that was important.
New, and then moving from northern Mexico to Puerto Vallarta, we started new again. We came down with basically clothes.
You could have filled everything in the back of a pickup truck.
Yep.
So learn to live with less. It's a good time to realize that none of this stuff matters. These people who are suffering in the hospital, you think any of this shit matters? You think the next iPhone or the next Samsung or whatever the hell it is that gives you your jollies for that minute, or the next, oh, I got to post this image on Instagram because, you think any of that matters to those people right now? So get back, be real, come back to what's important. This is important. Your children are important. You are important. Get back to reality. Get back to the simplest things. This is how we have to deal with this, folks.
And that's really where you're going to find your true happiness. Because if not, during these times, you're always going to be looking for something external to fulfill your happiness when your happiness lives inside of you.
Absolutely.
Your happiness is really, it comes back to those 3 simple things. You, the people around you, and those bare essentials that you need to survive. Okay. So we covered vulnerability, contributing to one another. I know I recently did just get a message from an Instagram follower who her husband has to be in quarantine in a separate house away from her and her 4 kids. And just what a stressful time that's going to be over the next 2 weeks, and hoping that she doesn't get it and hoping that her 4 kids don't get it. So what would you do in a situation like that if you and your partner have to be separated because one of you has coronavirus and the other one doesn't, and you have 4 kids? Like, what are you going to do now? All of that stress, all of that responsibility is on you to take care of your children while you don't know what's going on with your partner.
And this was a conversation, guys, while we were setting up, we were having. This came in less than an hour ago. Okay. So it's, again, the universe telling us, yeah, we got to do this. We've been talking about this, but she's had the flu for the last week. So we
Don't
haven't
think
been
it's the
able to do it.
virus. Don't worry.
But even if it is,
Even if it is, I'm young and
we
healthy.
don't-
I'm
but we
good. I
don't
don't
care.
fear it.
But even if it is a worst case scenario, we're living exactly how we're preaching. We're living each day
Yeah.
at a time. We're loving each other each day at a time. So think about that poor woman and what she has to deal with. She now has to raise 4 children by herself in a different home from where her husband is. So it was bad enough that they were, as a family module, working together and trying to deal with this. Now she has to deal with it by herself. Where he's separated, he doesn't know if he's going to live or die. She doesn't know if he's going to live or die. So when you're sitting there thinking about, oh, I can't do this, and I can't talk to her, I can't say. Think about putting yourself in that woman's situation right now. All the things that she couldn't think about doing, suddenly she'd take back that husband right now and redo it all over again. So don't wait until that happens to you.
Absolutely. And we're being realist because, unfortunately, in the spiritual world that we both have delved deep into, a lot of people have so much resistance against the fear, against the news, against media, against what's going on. So they block it out and they resist it with they view it as basically being negative. But unfortunately, in a world where everything exists, there is no negative and positive. You have to be aware of what's going on so that you don't become to the effect of it. So then you can actually be aware of, okay, so if this happens, this is what I'm going to do. That way you can be prepared. That way you can be aware of all possibilities instead of cutting off your awareness to that. So then when it does blindside you, you're completely surprised. You're thrown off track. You have no idea what to do. You're not prepared. So you just have to be aware. Open your eyes. Don't live in a state of fear just because we're bringing up these questions of, okay, what if you're going to die? It's not that you're going to die. It's not that we're living in a state of fear of, oh my God, what if we die? What if we get the virus? That's the least of our worries.
But I'll tell you something though. And as a coach, and I've been doing this for a long time, I use morbidity to shock people. So one of the techniques that I do with people who really struggle with facing reality is I have them lay down and hold some flowers and have the people around them talk about them as though they have died, so that shocks them right back into reality. So we don't live in a place of fear that we're afraid we're going to die. However, we're not afraid to face, like Shelley's saying, put blockers on it and pretend like it's not happening. We look at it from a place of, I know I'm going to die. We're not all here forever. When I'm going to die, I don't know. But you know what? Between now and then, I'm going to enjoy my fucking self. I'm going to love like I did. There's no tomorrow. I'm going to give everything I have. When it comes, it comes. I'm good. I'm okay. So if we can use that, not from a place, like Shelley's saying, from fear, oh, I got to be afraid of this. Live from a place of, listen, we always hear it. You talk to any of the motivational speakers, you look at all the spirituality, and everybody talks about it. Live like today is your last day. Live like there's no tomorrow. Because here's the reality. Tomorrow is promised to nobody. And I often tell my clients, when you wake up in the morning, in the best of times, not what we're dealing with right now, when you wake up in the morning, you have a 50-50 chance of laying back in that bed the same way you got up in the morning. That's the reality that everybody faces every day. Today, it's being shown right up close to us. So pay attention to that. And again, we're not telling you to live in fear. We're telling you to live for the first time free, vulnerable, love life, enjoy life, love the people around you, whoever is important to you. Don't be afraid to tell them how you care. If you've never said it before, find the words. Pull your head out of your ass and find the words and tell them how much you care about them. Tell them how much they mean. They need to hear it. And if you're not hearing it and you need to hear it, ask your partner. Ask them.
Absolutely.
But you have to. If not now, when? That's all we got for you, folks. I know this was a little harsh and it was a little bit on the morbid side, but this is the reality that we're dealing with. As we continue on, and hopefully we get a chance to continue on, always subscribe, like, share. This is the only way we're going to keep doing what we're doing. Guys, we could tell you now, we don't do this for money. We do this because we love who we are and we want to share what we have. But the best way to share it is to share it with as many people as possible. So subscribe, like, share.
And send us your questions, please.
Please do. Whatever you need. That's why we call it the naked truth, folks.
We'll discuss anything.
I know a lot of you with some of the things will say, bullshit. Don't care. We don't care about the haters. Our gift is to share what we know. And we get it that not everybody's going to agree, which is okay too. We're not looking for people to always like us. Disagree with us, please. Because at the end of the day, that's just it. We're happy.
Exactly. We'll see you in next week's episode.
Take care of yourself, people.
Bye-bye.